Is there something common about the foundations that appears all the way up?
Well, yeah, I think that's what would give us epistemic access to those kind of elements. I guess I make the assumption that whatever the nature of the ground is, it's holographically distributed throughout the whole thing. It's like written into the very concept of a law of nature. I would think of it as there's a German word. I don't know what it is though, for an assumption that's so baked in to your perceptions that you never even think to name it, you know. And I would think of it something like that. Like it's something so obvious, so ubiquitous, you know, that it's part of absolutely everything you could observe. But it's precisely that makes it somewhat difficult to put your finger on, because, you know, there's no way to single it out. And this is actually what makes it so difficult to empirically verify, is, you know, on the one hand, all we have is physicality. You know, there's no way to sort of reach through to the foundation of existence and test that. But also there's no way to isolate the relevant variables, because any possible situation that you could devise is going to also conform to the sort of first principles. There's no way you can't devise a situation where the first principles wouldn't be operative, because there just isn't such a situation.
So we can't get there empirically, but have you yourself got any examples of how the foundations sort of are reflected in that fractal or holographic way? Like, have you got a simple way of thinking about it, like in terms of, say, atoms or human behavior? Or
that's partly what I was trying to say, is that, you know, there's no example you can think of anything that isn't reducible to data and logic. You know, atoms, human behavior, human experience, you know, whatever it is, any particular you can think of, you can always look at it and go, okay, you know, here's the information that this consists in, and here's the structure that information has. That seems to be an inherent structure in the nature of things. And like, there's no particular thing you look at that sort of tells you that, but rather it's the fact that you can kind of like exhaustively enumerate all of the things of which you're aware, and you never find an exception, something that doesn't conform to those principles.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, well, I'd love to get more into the specifics of data and logic. Like, why did you land on data, for example, as your
Yeah.
absolute ground?